Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Boxiest, and today we are going to continue the What If series. What if events had gone differently? And in this What If, we're going to change the history of Cobra Kai. What if Johnny killed Kreese during the events of Cobra Kai Season 3? So in this timeline, the events of Cobra Kai Season 3 would still happen. The house fight would still happen in this timeline. Cobra Kai would still fight Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang, and those events would carry on. Hawk would still be redeemed in this timeline, and with Hawk's help, the Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang students would take down Cobra Kai, so Miyagi-Fang would still win the house fight, and after the fight, Johnny would still want to go home, and he would still want to tell Carmen that he loves her, but when Johnny showed up, he would see Miguel all bloodied up. Johnny would be filled with rage, and he would ask what happened, so Johnny would still show up at the Cobra Kai dojo to confront Kreese. Johnny would be ready to fight, but he would still be surprised to see Robbie training with Kreese. Johnny would feel betrayed, seeing Robbie train with Kreese. Kreese would still want to convince Johnny to rejoin Cobra Kai. Robbie would still tell Johnny to listen to Kreese. He would say that he knows what's best for him, but this would only make Johnny mad, and he would attack Kreese. So Kreese and Johnny would start fighting. Johnny would be showing no mercy, and he would continue attacking Kreese. Robbie would be watching the fight, and he wouldn't know what to do. Kreese would push Johnny against a wall of weapons, so Johnny would grab a scythe from the wall, and he would want to stab Kreese. Robbie would tell Johnny to not do it, but in this timeline, Johnny would be too enraged, and he would run up to Kreese, and he would pin him on the ground. He would continue punching him, but eventually he would take the scythe, and he would stab Kreese. Robbie would run up to Johnny, and he would push him off of Kreese, but it would already be too late, and Kreese would already be dead. Robbie and Johnny would be in shock, and Johnny wouldn't believe what he just did. So Johnny would drop the scythe, and he would apologize to Robbie for what he had to see. But Robbie would be filled with rage, and he would want to avenge Kreese. So Robbie would still want to fight Johnny in this timeline. So Johnny would still be fighting defensively against Robbie, and he would still push Robbie against the locker. So Johnny would go see if Robbie was okay, but Robbie wouldn't want anything to do with Johnny. This is when Daniel would show up, and he would see Kreese and Robbie on the floor, with Johnny kneeling over Robbie. Daniel would notice that Kreese was dead, and Daniel would ask Johnny what he did. Johnny would say that he did what he had to do, that Kreese had gotten to Robbie. Daniel would be speechless, and he would want to go see if Robbie was okay, but Robbie would still be in shock, and he would yell at Johnny to stay away from him. So Daniel would go pick Robbie up, and he would get him away from Johnny. This is when Sam and Miguel would enter the dojo, and they would be surprised to see Kreese dead on the ground. So Sam would want to call the police. Miguel wouldn't believe what Johnny had done, and Johnny would be sitting on the ground. He would be filled with mixed emotions, seeing his former sensei dead on the ground. The police would show up, and they would take statements from everyone. Robbie would tell the police that Johnny killed Kreese, and Robbie would look at Johnny with hatred in his eyes, and they would arrest Johnny. So Johnny would be sent to prison for murder. News would spread that Johnny killed Kreese, so Eagle Fang would shut down, and some of the Eagle Fang students would join Miyagi-Do. Robbie would be conflicted, and he wouldn't want to rejoin Miyagi-Do, so he would decide to go off on his own, and Robbie's hatred towards Johnny would grow even more. Cobra Kai would shut down, and some of the Cobra Kai students would go to different dojos. Miguel would be conflicted about Johnny, and he would want to go visit him in prison, but Carmen wouldn't want Miguel to associate with Johnny anymore. And that is where I'm going to end this What If. Thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think would have happened if Johnny killed Kreese during the events of Cobra Kai Season 3? Let me know in the comments below. YouTube lets me know that the majority of you are not subscribed, so if you guys could subscribe, that would be much appreciated. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And I'll see you guys next time.